How's it going, and welcome to The Guitar Effect. My name's Rob. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you my new Fulltone GT500. But before I do, I'll ask you to please like and subscribe. So, the Fulltone GT500 is a distortion and booster pedal in one box. And the first thing I'm going to do is show you it in the context of a track, so have a listen. So yeah, I was using this pedal there on the Telecaster into a Vox AC30 style sound, and on the 335 into a Marshall style sound. And you know, it can handle any type of amplifier with this built-in EQ really, really well. So to tell you a little bit about it, it's a boost and an overdrive in one. Sorry, a boost and a distortion in one. This is not an overdrive, it's a distortion. So it mimics the dirty channel of your amp, or, you know, mimics a Marshall style distortion sound. The boost side and the distortion side work independently of each other. So you can use boost, or you can use distortion, or you can use both. The switch in the middle switches it between boost into distortion or distortion into boost, depending on where you have that switch set. So boost into distortion obviously will give you a dirty sound and then a heavier sound, and then distortion into boost will give you a dirty sound and then a louder version of that same sound, which you can control the amount of extra gain that's being added by this gain knob. I will say, even though this says it's a boost or an overdrive, it's very much clean boost, and you can really shape the sound of that clean boost with these bass and treble knobs, but it never really gets into any sort of meaningful overdrive, which is great. If you use it with a dirty amp, it'll give you an amazing, like, boosted, dirty sound, which I demonstrate in the sounds part later in the video. The distortion side has distortion or volume and distortion, and then it has bass, middle, and treble. So you can sculpt this sound to whatever guitar and amp combination you're using. And then the last thing I'll say before we get into the sounds is this can run on 9 to 18 volts. I think it actually says in the manual, you know, 6 to 18 volts. So you might be even able to run it on lower voltage, but I have found that if you are gigging through a loud tube amp, put this at 18 volts and you get the most unbelievably crisp, beautiful distortion with definition. But when I use it at home, it works much better in a direct recording scenario in 9 volts. You get much better compression and stuff. So the Fulltone GT500, here's how it sounds. Okay, so here's what that setup, right, to the guitar, into the pedal, into the clean channel, the Fender Twin emulation on the GT500 sounds like without the pedal on. So you can see it's completely clean, right? So then I'm going to start with the booster and overdrive setting. Volume just below noon, drive at like 2/3. And the bass, I'm actually going to roll the highs in a little bit more. The bass is rolled back a little bit, which is the way I always like to run clean boosts, and the highs are up a little bit. And you can see that there's basically very, very little change in the sound, right? So if I bump the volume up a little bit more, and the drive up, just starts to get a little bit thicker, and just a tiny little bit of gain. It's incredibly clean. Put it to the back pickup. Starting to break up just a tiniest little bit there. So clean boost, and I'll show you the clean boost on a dirty channel with a different guitar and later in the video, but the clean boost is incredibly clean, okay? Turn it off, go to the distortion side. Again, clean sound first. Bump the highs ever so slightly. I have the distortion past now, and I'm going to wind the distortion back a little bit. It's exactly what I'm looking for with an overdrive pedal. With a distortion pedal. I've bumped the mid slightly. So I can clean that up by rolling back the volume now. And while it does clean up to some degree, it's not the pedal for that. It's best when it's full on or close to full on. So then the other thing I can do is combine that distortion with the boost. In this case, the boost is in front. So no boost and boost. Just gives a huge distortion sound, nice lead tone. And even with both on, it's still got definition to it. But enough sustain should you need it. It's just a really tasty distortion pedal. So I'm just going to play with the EQ a little bit and show you what that does. So I'm going to turn off the booster and bring the bass back a little bit. Bass up. Again, it's just so powerful. Put the bass back in the middle. We wind the mids back to scoop it a little bit. The mids add a lot of punch and even perceived volume. And rolling the highs off now. Rolling the highs back in again. I think that's about where I like it. It's got a lot of top end, but you can control that with the tone knob on the guitar if you want. you can see, with a humbucker style guitar into a Fender amp, it does a really good job. What I'm going to do now is switch over to a single coil guitar and play through a dirty Marshall amp to show you how well it can work in that situation too. Okay, so I'm now playing my new Epiphone Les Paul Jr. with a P90 in the bridge. Volume and tone are up full, and I've switched to the plexi setting on the TT25, and it sounds like this. You can really hear that single coil thing cutting through. To me, it's a little bit too toppy, so I'm just going to roll the tone knob on the guitar back slightly. Okay, so here is the booster side. Roll the top back slightly. Too much. So you can see, right, even with the bass roll back, it really adds a load of girth to that sound. So the booster works great for pushing into an already dirty amp, and then you can get a super heavy tone. Oh, in fact, now there is noise because this is a single coil guitar, but like, what a brilliant aggressive guitar sound. Clean it up with the volume up. Remember, that's a distortion pedal into an already dirty amp. So it just gives a really, really brilliant aggressive rock sound on a single coil guitar into a dirty amp. Both the boost and the distortion work really, really well. Again, you can tame those highs by bringing this back, bringing the mids up, bringing the bass up slightly, and get a even... So there you go, that's the sounds of the GT500. So there you go, the GT500. It's a really, really brilliantly built, like, will last forever, feels super sturdy, is really, really heavy. You know, there's no chance of you stepping on the two switches at the same time. It's big enough to function as a dual pedal well. And I think the sounds are unbelievable. I'm so impressed with this pedal. So they're not made anymore, unfortunately. I saw on Fulltone's website today, but I think there is actually, you can still get them on Thomann for some reason, and they're €200 new. And I picked this up second hand for, I think, 120, and I saw one the other day second hand for €100, and €100 for this is a steal. It really can be the cornerstone of your distortion and boost sounds. So there you go, the GT500, definitely a keeper. So as always, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed what you've seen and you want to see more. And I guess I'll see you again in another video soon. Take it easy. Bye bye.